Hello everybody, welcome back. Happy New Year. We're going to tie the Killer Kebari. This is Chris Stewart, aka Tenkarabum's awesome pattern. And it's based on Frank Sawyer's Killer Bug, which is tied with copper. And so I'm putting a little super glue down, and I'm going to use a little copper wire here. The super glue, as soon as I do a few wraps here, starting just like you would thread, that super glue is going to set and bite and help from the copper wire spinning around. And unlike the Killer Bug, I started a little bit behind the head because we're going to tie a hackle in the front. That's Chris Stewart's riff on Frank Sawyer's Killer Bug, which is simply copper wire and yarn, a particular Chadwick's yarn. You can get a copy of that color by Semperfli if you really want. Chris Stewart tied his with Shetland Spindrift sand and then used a Prismacolor marker in sand, also color, to dye it to get as close as possible. I'm not so finicky about the color. I think there's a lot of color combinations of wool yarn that you can use to make an amazing fly. This is a super effective fly, and it's great. The little bit of added weight is useful to sink the fly pretty quickly in those circumstances. So I've wrapped the copper wire a little fatter in the beginning. Now I'm going to start the yarn. This is a Shetland Spindrift yarn. It might be sand color. I can't remember, to be honest, and I didn't have it labeled. And the yarn is a 2-ply yarn, so this is only 1 ply. And I'm going from the head to the back to the head, and then back to the bend, and just a little bit further, then tying it down with the copper wire. Cut off the tag, and I'm going to whip finish the copper wire at the bend there. Basically what you have right now is Frank Sawyer's Killer Bug. With the exception of that, there's a little bit of space left at the head, but otherwise that's the bug. That's Frank Sawyer's unbelievable fly, overshadowed by his pheasant tail, which is also an amazing fly, but the Killer Bug is killer, hence the name. So we're going to start now with some brown thread up at the head, and we're going to tie in a very small hen hackle here by the stem, a couple of wraps, and that becomes the Killer Kebari. Online, when I searched for Killer Kebari, I saw tons of Sakasa Kebari named Killer Kebari. You just happen to be using the word killer to mean awesome, but there's a true Killer Kebari that the great Chris Stewart came up with. Chris is a really important figure in the Tenkara world here in the United States, and in terms of fly tying, and I wanted to make sure there was credit out there for this fly in the video sphere, and I'll put a link to his website where he has a pictorial step-by-step on how to tie this fly, because it is an amazing fly and it's really important. He's an important figure, and I think it should be out there. I've enjoyed tons and tons of success with this fly. I've tied it with different colors of yarn. There's a Shetland Spindrift color that has black and gray in it. That is amazing, with a little black hen hackle or starling or something along those lines. And these work really, really well. So there's a close-up of the fly, and I'll put all the links in the description, and thank you so much.